Name's Matthew and welcome to this free Fast Track eBay course. In this Fast Track eBay course, I'm going to be sharing my tips and strategies that I've personally used over the past 9 years to start a successful and thriving eBay business. So you're here presumably because you want to start up a successful eBay business, or perhaps you just want to start selling successfully and profitably on eBay, or perhaps you're just wanting to generate an income, a full-time income preferably, working part-time, starting today with the power of the internet. So eBay is certainly one way that you can do this. Before I dive into the main parts of this course, you're probably wondering, how does eBay actually work and how does someone generate an income from it? So eBay essentially is a selling and buying platform online. So on this platform, you can buy and sell goods, as you can see here. So there's different categories. So you can buy items. So as the seller, in this case, since we're wanting to sell items, the main really objective is to have products that you can list on eBay and sell for a profit. So on that note, what are the main advantages of using eBay to start an eBay business or to generate an income online? There are a number of reasons to do and also to choose eBay over other ways of generating an income. One of the main reasons that eBay is really good is because the overheads are far lower than a traditional bricks and mortars business. You don't need to pay rent, you don't need to pay council tax, you don't need to hire as many staff, etc. etc. It's also very easy to set up, it's very straightforward, it's very quick, and you can also sell pretty much anything and everything. It's also very flexible, so you can actually work it around your schedule. You can do it part-time, full-time, in your spare time. Pretty much you can do it whenever you want. You can start at 9 in the morning, you can start at 9 at night. It's totally flexible, it's totally your choice. So that's one of my personal reasons why I really like it. It's you can also run it from home, you can do it from a warehouse, you can do it from a small premises, and you don't need to have a big massive location. You don't have a massive shop on a really good location just because it's online. You can also make sales even when you're not at your computer. The great thing is you can actually make sales even when you're asleep. So often I make sales at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm obviously fast asleep at that time, and when I get up in the morning I can check my eBay account, and more often than not I've got some sales in there waiting for me, which is fantastic, because with a normal business, if you're not open between 9 till 5 and if no customers are coming in during those times and buying from you, the chances are you're probably not making a sale. So with eBay business, it runs 24/7, which is fantastic. Another reason for choosing an eBay business or using eBay to make an income is because there's no direct face-to-face interaction needed with the customer. So I appreciate a lot of people don't like the face-to-face interaction. My background is from retail, so I can totally resonate with that. It was fine dealing with customers for a while, but after a while it's very tiring, it's very draining. So an eBay business was perfect for me. And lastly, the last reason I've got to start the eBay business really, or to start selling on eBay, is that it has a massive potential to reach a huge audience from all parts of the world. So even if you're based in the UK or based in Ireland or based in Canada, for example, it doesn't really matter, because you've got the potential to actually sell to those customers, which is, again, that's really good. if you've got a shop if you've got a bricks and mortars business on a high street, for example, the chances are people are not going to travel thousands of miles to come and buy from your store, unless, of course, they're coming to coming as a tourist, or they happen to be in your area. So you're probably wondering, what's my personal background and what are my personal reasons for starting an eBay business? Now, everyone's got different reasons, but my personal reasons, well, I'll tell you about those in a second. But first of all, my background. So as you know, my name is Matthew. I'm 35 and I'm from the United Kingdom. Now, I've always been a shy and quiet person. I've always been, you could say, quite a sensible person, and my school teachers used to always tell me that I was always reluctant, I was reluctant to ask for help, which is sort of quite funny, but I just wanted to be transparent with you and just be honest that I'm a real person. I'm not one of those types of people who love talking all day long and likes getting a lot of attention. I'm not that sort of person. So my interests include badminton, travelling, watching football and rugby, spending time with friends and family, and also dining out. Now, I also, believe it or not, I've actually failed computing at school, and I once said that I would never own a mobile phone and that mobile phones were a complete waste of time. Now the thing is, and ironically, it's quite funny that I'm telling you this, but I'm actually working in the IT industry, and I actually ended up working for Vodafone, which is one of the largest network providers in the world. So it just tells you sometimes that it's not dependent on your background or your experience. Sometimes some things happen for a reason, and I failed computing, but it didn't hold me back from starting an eBay business. I said that I'd never own a mobile phone. I worked for Vodafone, so perhaps this might apply to you. So even if you've got no experience, even if you don't have to even switch on a computer on, you don't need to have you don't need to be really techie. You don't need to have lots of experience to really do this. So my actual background in terms of eBay, I started an eBay business in 2009 out of my bedroom, believe it or not, and I grew from there. So I had very little capital to begin with. I didn't have that much experience, to be honest. It did take me a bit of time, but with consistency and with perseverance and lots of testing, and of course research, it allowed me to overcome those problems. So when I first started out, as I said, I didn't have much capital. So what I did was I purchased quite a lot of stock. I put on credit card, and then what I did was I sold the stock on eBay as quick as I could, and I grew it from there, which is, in many ways, it's quite high risk, but as the saying goes, if there's a will, there's a way. So this is how I did it. Now, I'm not saying to you, you have to do this. This is one way I did it. You could just start off selling items around the house, or items that you don't need, and then just build up some experience. Or you can go down that route, or you can do something else. It's entirely up to yourself. And lastly, my background is I've helped hundreds of people start generating income online through various methods, including eBay. Okay, so my personal reasons for starting out an eBay business was I didn't have much time with my friends and family and my partner. I was really unhappy because I was sick of being tied down to 9 to 5 in one location, having to be surrounded by colleagues that I didn't particularly like. Also a manager telling me what I needed to do. I mean, it's fine for a while. I mean, yeah, I understand that often it puts it puts food on the table and it pays the bills, but I never really wanted to do that long term. After I left high school, I went to college, and then I did Open Learning University. So I went through the Open University, and then I really started doing eBay business on top of that to test everything out, and it worked out great. So another great thing, another reason why I started an eBay business was I was sick and tired of commuting to work. So to be honest with you, I've never been a morning person. So I'd get up at even 7 o'clock, 7:30, and that would be a struggle for me. So on top of that, I need to commute to work, and then often if I'm late, then I'd have to stay behind or have to do overtime. I was also had to get back. I had to commute back to. I had to commute to and from work, so I'd have to get home sort of about 6:30, and then you'd be stuck in traffic and that sort of stuff. So I hated all that sort of stuff. So that's the reason why. Again, those are some other reasons. I hated trading time for money and watching the time go by slowly at work in a boring, repetitive job. Now, 9 to 5 is typically what a lot of people work, and 8 hours just seems, quite a long time. Well, it's basically 1/3 of the day. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted flexibility. I just wanted to work a few hours and then be able to have more time to do things that I enjoyed most, such as seeing family, going for coffee, whatever it is. At least it's I've got the control over that. Whereas if you're in a job, then there's no way you can do that, unless of course you're on holiday, which is fine and well, but you only get 28 days, or most people only get 28 days holiday for every year they work. So another reason was, even though I was never a big spender, my first job was actually less than £4 an hour. So that's under $5 an hour. Now that's crazy to think that the national minimum wage is probably double that now. But yeah, my first job was under £4 an hour. So this was back in 2000, so quite a while ago. But of course, getting paid £4 an hour, you're not going to achieve your potential. It's barely covering petrol money and bills. So that was another reason why I started out. I just had to get out of that type of environment, working for someone else. And lastly, the rising costs of living and inflation. So for me, it was the fear of not being able to buy a property, or having to rent for God knows how long. And that was another reason why I wanted to start a business, because end of the day, with a business, you can determine what you do, and also it gives you the flexibility to buy and profit on basically whatever you sell. So in a job, you can't really do that, because end of the day, you're working for someone else, and someone else determines how much money to pay you. So there's my background, and that's my reasons for starting eBay business. So let me move swiftly on and ask you, what are your reasons for starting, or what are your reasons for wanting to generate an income online with eBay, or what goals do you want to achieve? Everyone's different, but perhaps you want to quit a job. Maybe you're sick and tired of commuting to and from work and doing overtime, often unpaid. Maybe you're fed up of being told what to do by a boss, and being surrounded by colleagues that you don't like. Now, you've probably noticed that a lot of these reasons are reasons that I personally came up with. So a lot of this will resonate with you. So it could be because you don't like getting up in the mornings. It could be that you're fed up of trading time for money. It could be lack of freedom. It could be perhaps you want to spend more time with your family or friends or your partner. Perhaps it could be that you want weekends off. Perhaps you only work weekends. It could be that you work Monday to Friday. You hate 9 to 5. Whatever your reasons are, just bear those in mind, because often we need motivation and we need a reason why before we take action. So my personal success with eBay and how my life has improved for the better. Now I've generated 6 figures in sales consistently each year since 2009. I've got over 99% positive feedback on eBay, with over 20,000 feedback. I basically generate sales every day, including New Year's Day, Christmas Day, and even when I'm asleep, sometimes at 2 o'clock or 5 a.m. I've also achieved bronze, silver, gold and platinum level status, seller status on eBay. I've got customers all over the UK, ranging from Shetland to Cornwall, Belfast to London. I also have customers in other countries around the world. I typically spend a few hours a day on eBay. I typically finish around actually before noon, Monday to Friday, and I tend to have weekends free. So the reasons why my life has improved for the better with eBay, I've actually got more time to travel and meet up with friends when and where I like. I'm able to go to sleep and wake up whenever I want. I'm able to look after my family and help them as and when I'm needed. I don't need to ask for permission to take holidays, to get time off, to attend to doctor's appointments, dentist appointments or anything like that. I don't need to commute to and from work. I can have lunch at any time. I can take holidays at any time. You've probably got it. It's freedom. I've got a lot more freedom than most people, and I wouldn't have it any other way now. Once you experience this type of lifestyle, once you experience this type of freedom, it's very difficult to imagine anything else. So what do we actually need to start an eBay business or to start selling online? So first of all, we need a computer with an internet connection, a stable internet connection is preferable. You also need an eBay account, so you'd register an eBay account. You need a PayPal account, you need a bank account, an email account. You need to come up with products to sell. You also need a camera or a phone with a camera to take photos. You need packaging and a pen or pencil, but you wouldn't have a pencil, but a pen certainly, or printer to write customers' addresses to send out orders. And of course you need postage to send items out. So the last slide I've got here, so you can see I've got 5 slides, it's the 6th slide. So you're probably wondering, what do I sell and what's the importance of research, and what other things do I need to consider when I'm coming up with an item to sell. So in terms of selling an item, first of all, you need to really factor in the profit margins after taking into consideration postage costs, eBay fees, PayPal fees, postage, packaging, time, and all this sort of stuff. There's a lot of people, what they do is they sell lots of items really cheap. So for example, they'll sell 100 items at 10p profit, and that might take them 8 hours to package, but of course that's not high leverage. So you're not making much profit, and of course you're using a lot of time and energy and effort to do that. So that's really the worst type of product to sell. Another consideration would be, is the item particularly heavy or bulky? Because if it is, then the chances are you probably need to get a courier to send it out, such as UPS, Yodel, Parcel Force, something like that. So instead of going to the post office, you may need to wait around for the courier to collect it. So of course that's time consuming as well, because you don't have much flexibility. Whereas if you're sending stuff out at the post office, you can just pretty much go anytime, drop it off, and then you can spend the rest of your day doing whatever you like. And if an item is particularly heavy, then of course you need specialist couriers, which again adds to the cost, and of course adds to the time as well. So some people also sell fragile items. Now I personally don't like selling fragile items, so items that are easy to get damaged in the post, particularly stuff with glass, made of glass, or anything like that, just because the chances of it getting damaged in the post are far greater. And of course, if something gets damaged, it's more hassle. You don't want that. So ideally, you want to choose an item that's easy to post and package. So when you send an item, it tends to be either a letter, a large letter, or a small parcel, and sometimes it's a medium parcel. So I'd advise you to get a set of scales, so that you know exactly how much something costs to send, and also to work that into your profit margins, because sometimes postage can make a huge part, or can make a huge dent into your profit margins if you're not careful. So I certainly recommend you to do that. The other thing is the value of the items that you're selling over £50? If it is, you might want to send items by recorded delivery, because if you don't send items by recorded delivery, then there's no tracking number. So if someone receives an item and claims that they haven't, then you've got no proof to show that the item was delivered. So for items under £50, then if you're sending something, say that's worth £5 out, that's fine and well. But if someone says that they haven't received it when they have, then you can't prove it. So you've essentially given that item for free to that person. So it's part of the risk of selling on eBay. But to minimise that, I tend to sell items that are worth over £50, so that I can send it by recorded delivery, just for an added peace of mind. So that's my personal tip for you. So in terms of coming up with an item to sell, you might want to consider, are the items that you no longer need or use or want? Have you got a specific hobby or interest that can be turned into a business? You can also do market research on eBay for sold items and items that are in demand. Also, can you get a reputable supplier for these items? And can you get any discount for buying in bulk? The other thing is trust from buying abroad. Now, a lot of people, what they do is they buy from abroad and then get it shipped out or sent out to the UK, and that's fine and well, just because often it's cheaper, but often there's lots of import duty, and of course it takes a lot longer for items to get to you, and of course postage costs more. So all those things you need to factor in. So in terms of suppliers, one place you can go is alibaba.com or esources.co.uk. So those two places are websites that allow you to find suppliers for particular products in specific categories. You can also try places such as charity shops, car boot sales, jumbo sales, auction houses, antique shops, and even high street retailers. Now these are places that you could try out to begin with, but of course it does take quite a bit of time, so it's fine just when you're starting out. But long term, places like charity shops are not really what you want to be doing, unless of course it's something you really know a lot about. So if you're selling really high value items and you know your stuff, then perhaps going to auction houses might be a good alternative, rather than actually just going for a supplier. So another thing is, you want to make sure that the items that you sell are not in the prohibited or restricted items list on eBay. Just because if you list items in those specific categories, then eBay will get rid of your listing. So they'll delete your listing, and you won't be able to list it. So all this stuff I'm going to be covering in video 2. So I'm going to actually go on eBay. I'm going to show you how I do research. I'm going to be showing you how to create a listing. I'm also going to be showing you stuff like pricing, then portions of the description, photos, item specifics, all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to show you all that in the next video. So without further ado, thanks very much for listening. I just want to make this as short as possible without missing the important content. So thanks again, and speak to you soon.